Hey guys, just a quick update on the tank. With the so I was mistaken before when I said, unfortunately, I was mistaken before when I said that the stuff that was covering the bottom was coralline algae. It was actually red cyano. So I think I've got a handle on it. There's a couple. Unfortunately, there's a couple changes. There's a couple changes I wanted to make and ones that I couldn't. I actually thought I could extend this outlets, the spray bar. It, I had another pipe that came with it, and I'm not even sure what that pipe is for. But unfortunately, I can't move that red spray bar so that it sprays nearer the middle, and it's just kind of stuck up there. And also, the direction of the nozzle is because of all that built up gunk. It's just stuck up there. I think the only way for me to change it is if I kind of take it out and take the whole apparatus out, which I really don't want to do. Um, so what I did instead was I just moved the UV. So this UV filter has a higher flow rate than the actual canister filter spray bar. Um, so I moved that down. So hopefully now I'm getting more of the bottom. Before this was at the very top. So what happened was that the two currents would come together and create a vortex right there in the middle, which I thought was pretty cool in terms of like flow, but maybe that's not the ideal way to do it. So now I have this lower as low as it can get about having the inlet of the UV filter touching the sand. So I'll give this a try. And the other thing I did was obviously I used a ChemiClean. This was like around $20 it's specifically for the treatment of red cyanobacteria, and I would say it actually does work because, well, the instructions are to turn off your UV sterilizer, which I did, and also your carbon, which I actually have carbon in the canister filter, but when I set it up, I didn't actually look in the canister filter, so it's actually in a plastic bag there. So I still have carbon that I could use if I needed to. Anyway, so the point was the instructions to, 3 capsules, which I did for 30 gallons. This is a 30-gallon tank, including the filter, and also a 20% water change, like the 48 hours of that, and then after that a 20% wire change. So I did the wire change before I did the I put in, so I didn't feel the need to or the will to do another wire change. So when I do the water change, obviously I'm using distilled water. Again, resalt it with this. What am I using? This fluval high quality salt that has calcium and magnesium added to it. So anyway, the point is, I think this actually does work because I tried manually removing the cyanobacteria before, and then right when I did that, like literally the next day, you could see it popping up again pretty hard. So I think this actually does work. It is Well, it's fish safe. I don't have any corals in here. I don't have any. Well, I have invertebrates, so I don't think they died off yet. A couple snails, no shrimp. Um, so I think it does work. It stops it. Hopefully, this little bits that are up here. Hopefully, they'll go away with the. This isn't red sand. This is something else. This tank is dirty. So hopefully that goes away pretty soon. And I'm hoping this setup right here will increase the flow. Um, I don't actually. I should have done a water test before this, but I did water test. I don't think the water quality is bad in my. I did one before, like a while ago, and I had no nitrates, no, no nitrates, no nitrites, no ammonia detected, and everything was in, obviously the correct ranges. So I think the other thing is that I did turn off the bubbler for a while, the air stone that I have. Um, and that might have caused a buildup of proteins at the very top. So I don't have a protein skimmer, and instead of a protein skimmer, I'm using just a bubbler, an air stone, one of these USB air stones back here. Um, I was running that periodically, but I actually turned that off, and that might have been the reason why that all this bacteria built up. Because maybe there was like a protein buildup that wasn't getting broken up, uh, and then obviously the bacteria might have fed on that. So this is gonna be pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put. And the other thing is I had the UV timer and also the UV sterilizer and the bubbler on the same timer, and I wouldn't run it all day. I'll just run it kind of like off and on because I felt like the flow may be a little bit too much for the fish, especially when I was starting the tank, and obviously I don't want to make the fish a little bit too stressed with the flow. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sterilizer and the lights on the same thing. So the sterilizer will be running all the time, and the bubbler will run like once 15 minutes every hour or something like that, just to break up any kind of, and also add air as well. That might have been all it too. There might have not been enough like oxygen or a gas exchange. Sorry, I gotta keep my cat from scratching here. In the tank too. So I'm just going basically back. I'm adding more flow, as in I'm redirecting the flow a little bit. The other thing I could do is I could buy actually a really small uh, pump here in the corner to push everything this way. So right now I think the spray bar pushes it here, and then the UV sterilizer pushes it in the middle. Maybe I need to get something else like right here in the corner to push it along the bottom, and maybe that would help a lot too. But anyway, so that's the plan. Um, Basically increased. So I didn't go ahead and get obviously I didn't go ahead and get the corals because yeah, this tank is a mess. So I want to clear that up first. I'll probably get it this weekend, the corals, or early next week, depending on the schedule. I like the layout here now. It's a little bit more simpler, and I'm not afraid to get in there and knock something over. These rocks are not glued together. Yeah, that's definitely a newbie mistake number one. You gotta glue these rocks together, whatever kind of rock structure, especially if you have like arches. Before, with the layout I had like arches and arches and arches. Looking really cool, but it's like, highly unstable. Um, this is more stable, but and the other thing is like you can get a sand sifter, like a goby, uh, like a real bottom dweller. I don't really have a bottom dweller here, and that could help stir up the sand a little bit, to get rid of some of this bacteria. But this actually does really work, and it comes in this. It says this treats 300 gallons, so I think I'm gonna continue to use this every single 2 weeks or so, just to clear things up a little bit more. It doesn't seem to harm the plants or harm the fish or anything like that, and all it is pretty simple. You just dissolve it in a cup of salt water from the tank, and then you just turn off your UV sterilizer or carbon for 48 hours and just let it do its work. And I think it does work. It's not one of those. It was recommended to me by the guys at PetSmart, which I do trust. And yeah, so I think I'm getting this red cyano under control. So that's the update, and I'll talk to you later.